Today's topic is about dynamic modulus of elasticity. The value of E is found out by actual loading of concrete, that is, the static modulus of elasticity does not truly represent the elastic behavior of concrete due to the phenomenon of creep. Means here the E represents the modulus of elasticity from the static modulus of elasticity which we had seen previously. So we can't find the exact elastic behavior of the concrete due to the creep. Here the creep we will know about it in the coming video. So we will find the value of E using the dynamic modulus of elasticity. Coming to the second point, the modulus of elasticity will get affected more seriously at higher stresses when the effect of creep is more pronounced. Means when the effect of creep is high, the modulus of elasticity is seriously affected at the higher stresses. Next, the modulus of elasticity can be calculated from the following relationship. Here is the equation for that. ED is equal to K into N square into L square into rho, where ED is the dynamic modulus of elasticity, K is a constant, N is a resonant frequency, L is the length of specimen, and rho is the density of concrete. Next, if L is measured in millimeters and rho in kilogram per meter cube, then here is the L value and rho value. If they are measured in the millimeters and kilogram per meter cube, then we can calculate the dynamic modulus of elasticity using this formula. ED is equal to 4 into 10 power minus 15 into N square into L square into rho GPa. Next, the value of E found out in this method is by the velocity of sound or frequency of sound is preferred as dynamic modulus of elasticity. Means we can find out the E value using the methods known as velocity of sound or frequency of sound, can be named as dynamic modulus of elasticity. The value of dynamic modulus of elasticity computed from the ultrasonic pulse velocity method is somewhat higher than those determined by the static method. Means from the ultrasonic pulse velocity method, the value of dynamic modulus of elasticity we obtain is little higher compared to the static method which we had found out previously, means easy. Next, approximate relationship between the two moduli, that is static and dynamic, is expressed in Gn by meter square is given by EC is equal to 1.25 into ED minus 19. Here EC represents the static modulus of elasticity and ED represents the dynamic modulus of elasticity. The relationship that does not apply to lightweight concrete or for very rich concrete with cement content more than 500 kg per meter cube. So for lightweight concrete, the relationship can be as follows. EC is equal to 1.04 ED minus 4.1. Next, Poisson's ratio. Coming to the definition, Poisson's ratio is the ratio between lateral strain to the longitudinal strain. Here, the lateral strain can be defined as, we all know that it is the ratio of change in length or diameter of a bar to its original length due to the deformation in direction perpendicular to the force. Whereas longitudinal strain, here the longitudinal strain can be defined as the change ratio of change in length or diameter of a bar to its original length due to the deformation in the direction of the force. The definitions are looking similar, right? But the major difference is that if the strain is along the direction of the force, then we consider it as longitudinal strain, and if the strain is perpendicular to the direction of force applied, then it is the lateral strain. Here from the diagram it is clear. The force here applying is, we obtain the longitudinal strain. If we consider it as a bar, the force we are applying is in this direction, means horizontal direction, and the forces applied here are vertical direction. This we consider it as longitudinal strain, and this we consider it as lateral strain. The range of the Poisson's ratio is between 0.15 to 0.20. Poisson's ratio can be determined from the ultrasonic pulse velocity method. By using the pulse velocity method, we can know the Poisson's ratio, and it can be calculated by following equation: v square by 2nl whole square is equal to 1 minus mu divided by 1 plus mu into 1 minus 2 mu. Here v is the pulse velocity, you can measure it in mm by seconds. N is the resonant frequency, and L is the length of the beam, we can measure it in mm, where mu is the Poisson's ratio. The value of Poisson's ratio found out dynamically is little higher than the value of static method. Next, coming to the creep of concrete. Creep is defined as the time-dependent deformation under a constant load. Means, for suppose if we take a concrete structure and we apply load on it, that is, it is under compression load, and automatically the deformation takes place. And if that load is maintained for a certain period of time, then the concrete structure undergoes additional deformation even without any increase in the load. This time-dependent strain is termed as a creep. Water movement under stress is a major mechanism leading to the creep of concrete. Creeping develops rapidly at the beginning and gradually decreases with time. Means at starting under loading, the creep develops very high and gradually decreases with time. It is very important to keep in mind that in the design of concrete column, 0.8 Fc is taken to be the strength limit. And these are the damages to the structure due to the creep. This one, the marked areas, and on the wall of the structure. Next, causes behind creep. They may be of two types: rearrangement of hydrated cement paste, especially the layered products, and the second one is due to the expulsion of water from voids under load. Types of creep can be divided into three types. The first one, basic creep, that occurs the creep that occurs when there is moisture movement between concrete and surrounding environment. The second one is specific creep. This type of creep is due to the strain per unit stress applied. And the third one is drying creep. Creep that occurs when specimen under load is also drying.